Hi everybody. So I have a new arrangement for you that we're going to work on the James Bond theme. So for those of you that are following along and practicing at home, the first thing we want to do is we're actually going to practice our G major scale. So if you look at the key signature here, we've got 1 sharp, F sharp. So normally that means G major. However, James Bond theme is actually in a minor key. So the relative minor key of G major is E minor. So we find that out by going down a third. So we have G major, so then you go down from G, F sharp, E. So if you're playing G, F sharp, E, that's a third, and that's how we find out what the relative minor of any major key is. So that means that if we play E minor, it's actually the same key signature as G major. So I know that's a lot of information, but first let's just practice starting our G major scale. Now when we play a G major scale, I just want to remind you that, that we're playing C naturals. So that means that our C natural is a half step right next to our B. And then our G natural, that's a half step, so it's touching our F sharp. So I'm going to play the G major scale. C natural, low 2, low 2. So that's our G major scale. Now if we can try it with some of the rhythms that we're going to be playing on the James Bond theme. So I want to see if we can play, if you look at measure 19 of James Bond theme, that rhythm there. So this is all swinging rhythm. So all these rhythms, the way that they're notated is sort of approximate because we're going to swing the rhythm. So if you can try the G major scale with the rhythm in measure 19, it's going to go like this. So you can play 2 beats. So we have the dotted 8th with the 16th and a rest and an up. Play that on 1 note and then play the 3 8th notes that follow it on the next note of the scale. I'll do that one more time if you're following along. And you can practice that with this bowing. So I wrote a lot of bowings in this part that I'd like for us to all try to do. So we're doing down, up, and then we're stopping our bow, and then we're doing up, down, and then we're doing another down bow, down, up, stop, up, down, up, down. So pay careful attention to my bow this time. So even though we have 2 ups in a row and 2 downs in a row, we're not doing any circle bows or anything. We're just using a little bit less bow and stopping our bow and then continuing in the same direction. So it'll be easier to practice getting used to that bowing pattern on a G major scale. So now let's talk about our E minor scale. So I'll just go through the scale and say the names of the notes while I play it for you. So we're going to start on E, F sharp, G natural, A, B, C natural, D, 4th finger E. Let's try that together without stopping. Okay, so once you've gotten used to that E minor scale, if you can practice, we're going to practice the rhythm that all of the violins have, or well, the first violins have in measure 11. So again, this rhythm is going to be swung. So normally we would say 1 and 2 and like this at the first 2 beats of measure 11. 1 and 2 and bum bum bum. But since we're swinging the rhythm, it goes like this. like this. Just the first 2 beats. So we're going to go. Okay? So we can practice doing a few different bow patterns and just get used to playing in this key. So the first violin part, let's go ahead and look at our roadmap for the piece. So we start out at the beginning. The first violins, I know that right at the third measure, it says tacit first time. So we're actually just going to wait and count our rests the first time through, and then on the repeat, we're going to play what's written. So on the repeat, we'll play, okay? And then we have to keep counting our rests. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So it's really important. So the first violins are going to have to work really hard to count the rest in this section. Then we keep playing through the main theme, and then if you look at measure 19, measures 19 and 20 are repeated. So we'll play those 2 times and then go to the end. We've got a lot of dynamic contrast written in here. Mostly fortissimo and piano or mezzo forte, but please pay attention to those while you're practicing. And then, let's see. I think that's mostly what we need to talk about. So I'll play through this for you. This is the first violin part for the James Bond theme. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get ready to play fortissimo at the bridge. Rest, rest. Repeat. One, two. And before the last measure, we'll probably put a small break so that we all have time to go from the fingerboard. I'm sorry, from the bridge on the second to last measure to the fingerboard. So that's the first violin part. Now let's talk about the second violin part. So we have the same rhythmic patterns, just on different notes. So you can practice the same things as far as the scales and the rhythms. We just have different note patterns. So the second violins, I want to talk about when we come in measure 3. So we have B, C natural, and then I want you to play your C sharp with your third finger, with a low third finger. So all of our fingers are squeezing and touching. And then back to the C natural. So watch my hand. 1, C natural, see how they're touching, and then C sharp, they're still touching. Okay. So I'll go ahead and play through the second violin part for you. Ready to do the repeat. Get ready to play forte now. just to go back for a second, in measure 19 and 20, we have B, 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 D sharp, and E. I want you guys to use fourth fingers for these E's if you can, okay? So D sharp, and then right next to it, your E. So those are going to be touching. They're touching. Okay, and then we'll actually probably, I didn't put it in the part yet. I'll do that in the part I send out to you, but we'll do it for Mata on the last measure, and then I'll cut us all off. If you have any questions about this, if you want to play along with me, you can come to my office hours, or if you just have any questions about how to practice it, please let me know. Okay,